I really want to start this meditation with just some silence. A couple of deep breaths and really trying to let God just speak to me. I want to imagine myself running to Him and Him hugging me. And Him rocking my body. Giving me a kiss on my forehead. And I'm feeling so loved by Him and so peaceful. And He tells me He's here with me and I can come to Him at any point in the day, anytime I want. He's here inside of me. He lives with me. And in Him, I can rest. And then I slowly start to move my fingers. And I'm waving Him goodbye. And I give Him a tight hug, a tight squeeze. And I say thank you for giving me peace. Hello, my name is Jasmine, and I really have been wanting to share with you some tips that I have found really help me out. I am and have been struggling with fibromyalgia. And for those of us who do not know what fibromyalgia is basically constant pain all around our body. So lower back pain for me, arms, legs, shoulder. It manifests very strongly around my pelvis and my abductors. And at worst, this looks like me staying in bed, bedridden for almost 3 weeks without the ability to take a shower by myself, without the ability to make myself breakfast. There is a quote that I saw somewhere that says that fibromyalgia can really take an ambitious person and rob them from the ability to do absolutely everything. And while I have been taking medication to help me feel better, I have really found a lot of power in being able to ground myself in my body. And so I wanted to be able to share a lot of the physical steps as well as the inner work that I have taken to make me feel at my very best. So first I want to be able to start off with the inner work that I have taken to be able to feel really restful and be able to have the energy that I need to be able to get up and, live up to the things that I almost did when um, I was able to move and do lots of things. So the first thing that I wanted to talk was the power of meditation. So what we just did here in the beginning of the video was imagining myself as a child, or imagining myself in my physical form, trying to walk to God. And in doing that, I was releasing control and really imagining that He was there to protect me and He was there to guide me. And sometimes I find that just releasing control to a supreme being, someone outside of us, is really healing, and that has been really healing to me. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the power behind movement. Now, one of the main cornerstone symptoms of fibromyalgia is that we really struggle to move. At worst, sometimes we are bedridden. Sometimes we cannot walk at all. I have used crutches to walk. I have used a cane to walk. And I know some of my friends that have been struggling with fibromyalgia are even using wheelchairs because the quality of their life has improved significantly since they have been using walking devices. And I just want to stress that movement does not necessarily mean doing yoga every day, although personally that has been very helpful to me. Movement can also just mean that we are simply breathing. When we are lying in our bed, we can simply be breathing or trying to move at least one finger at a time, or one toe at a time, or maybe one arm to the side of our bed and maybe the other one, or maybe lifting up our neck and moving it to one side and then to the next side. There have been studies that show that simply moving, imagining ourselves moving, can be just as efficient as actually doing the exercises in real life. Because our brain does not know the difference between actually doing the movements versus us imagining doing the movements. But you do have to be very intentional and almost, imagining what it would feel like, for example, to lift up a weight, feeling that heaviness in your arm, really trying to imagine the weight and doing constant reps. And you have to imagine yourself doing this, day to day, so that, you could actually get the benefits as if you were actually exercising day to day. So, what I wanted to stress was that while it is very hard for many of us who are facing with fibromyalgia to have even a stretching routine, if you can, which we all can because we have the ability to envision within ourselves, I would recommend that you spend some days practicing your different breaths, practicing moving at least one part of our body, practicing us envisioning ourselves, what it would feel like to go swimming, what it would feel like to go hiking, what would it feel like to go do a workout routine, and just thinking about how joyous it would feel, and think about how tiring it is, as you're envisioning yourself doing this exercising. Make it as vivid as you can, and slowly you will start to see that your body will be able to have a greater movement range. Now, if you are a person who is already out of bed, as I am myself, then doing things like yoga and dancing, belly dancing, any type of just like free dancing, you know. I like to do this movement. This is one of my favorites. Just simply pretend that you are falling down. You're just like falling down and melting into the ground. If you are able to do these type of movements, they will really make you feel like you have some form of control. You can do something to make your pain decrease and make you feel almost as if you have control over the symptoms that we are facing. The next step that I have for you guys is power of praying. So being able to release control. This is kind of connected to the power of meditation. And it's different from what I have mentioned in visualizing. Because in this, I just want you to kind of ground yourself in your body. Just sit tightly and ask yourself, you know, whether or not you believe in a God, what does your soul want to say? What does your soul want to plead to the universe, to anyone who is listening, to our God? What is it that we want to plead? This is the equivalent of almost journaling. But instead of journaling, you are vocalizing and you're really listening to yourself and just letting your tears come out as you speak and really reflecting and recognizing that we need help, but while also being very self-compassionate to ourselves and feeling hopeful that we are not alone and that we can find strength in someone. Well, personally, journaling has helped me out loads. I find a lot of strength in praying, and I am hoping that it will also be helpful to you. Another step that I have taken, and this I have learned from undergoing EMDR therapy, is being able to identify where pain sits in my body and how different feelings manifest and rest inside of my body. Now, it's very important to be curious and to be non-judgmental of the pain. As people who struggle with fibromyalgia, and even those people that don't struggle with any fibromyalgia, when we feel pain and when we store feelings inside of our body and we don't release them, they really do get trapped into our body, causing so many different type of issues. But when we ask ourselves, even if it is something in our chest, and really just feel it, it almost feels as if the feeling and the pain becomes stronger. And we can ask it, chest, do you have something to tell me? And almost as if magic, a thought will form in our head. And we will be able to realize that maybe something has been bothering us that we haven't been able to do. Or maybe we should be doing something that we're not doing, like drinking more water or eating certain vegetables. Our body really knows how to take care of us. But in living through the days, day after day, we have become very disconnected from it, and we are no longer listening to it. As someone struggling with fibromyalgia, I can say that I am a blessed person because this disorder has really allowed me to ground myself into my body and to help me learn as much as I can about myself. So, as I said, we can speak to our pain. We can ask any of our body parts to release tension. Something that I like to practice when I'm feeling very tense is that I lie down and then I envision myself going and talking to every single part of my body, from the bottom of my toes to the very top of my forehead. And I just go, you know, pinky toe, all of my toes. Can you please shake to release any tension that you may be having? And then my toes will start to move. Foot, left foot. Can you please move if you have any tension? Any shake. Shake it all. Shake it all off. Left leg. Can you please shake if you have any tension? Release it all off. Left thigh. Please shake if you have any tension. Release it. And I do the same thing with my right side. Right toes. Please shake if you have any tension. Release it all off. All right foot. Please shake if you have any tension. Right leg. Please shake if you have any tension. And as we're asking our bodies to shake off all of the tension, I like to imagine that there is a wall building, a yellow glow around me, a blue glow, whatever color you can envision it as. And this glow almost acts as a wall. And as the tension releases, it does not come back inside. Right upper thigh, please shake if you have any tension. And then we move to my stomach and my hips. Please shake if you have any tension. And then my chest. Please shake if you have any tension. Left and right arms. Please shake if you have any tension. Left and right hands and fingers. Please shake if you have any tension. And then my neck. Please shake if you have any tension. And for any caught up energy that hasn't been able to move yet, then I like to envision it as if it goes up into my body and leaves right up here, straight through my head, shoots all the way out of the glow, and not into my body again. Now, well, all of these tips I have found useful as a fibromyalgia, as someone that has been struggling with fibromyalgia. These tips are also useful for anyone, right? We are all feeling stress and tension with our day-to-day activities, and anyone can benefit from grounding ourselves and connecting to our bodies. We all feel headaches, you know. We can all give ourselves massages, going up like this, up, moving our fingers, a lot of tension down here, a lot of tension down here, a lot of tension here in our temples. We can give ourselves massages, but what we may find in giving ourselves massages, if there is underlying tension and stress that has not been resolved, is that the tension only moves from our facial muscles into the back of our heads, right? It only moves. And what this means is that we really need to take time to be able to ask that pain what is it trying to tell us that we are not listening? Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the ability to be able to protect our energy. We all have different struggles, different goals throughout our day, and as someone struggling with fibromyalgia, this may look like different things, and that is totally okay because no one's symptoms looks exactly the same. And while I may be walking one days, another of the days I'm walking in crutches, another of the days I'm walking in a cane, another of the days I'm bedridden, and we're all at different steps, and that's okay. But one of the main things that we find is that it almost feels like we need to be conserving our energy as much as possible. I want you to think about the airport, and as you're going through the airport, think about how tired you feel by the time that you get, to the plane, or by the time that you get to your destination. Your eyes feel so tired, you just feel like you want to take a nap. Whether you know it or not, because of the influx of people in these airports, all of these people have been taking away from your energy. Your mind, your eyes have been processing so much information from seeing people move to different places. Your energy has been leaking. And in this similar way, when we go through life, most people are leaking energy. We're giving it off to somebody. Woman, if a man glances over at you, you're losing energy. But for us who it almost feels like we have very little energy to start with, we must really learn how to conserve it. So I live in an area where I have to take transportation. I have to be on the bus. And even that, commuting can be very tiring. So what I like to do to be able to protect my energy while sitting in the bus is I imagine myself being connected with a cord, an energetic cord to every person sitting in the bus with me. And then I imagine taking a scissors and cutting that cord. And sometimes, if the connection seems very strong, I imagine a thicker rope or multiple cords. And I just cut them off and I see them. And then I breathe in and exhale out. And in such a way, I imagine myself retrieving all of my energy back. And I really like to do this visualization with anything that is bothering me, whether it's, students, a huge assignment that needs to get done, try to break away, cut off that energy, because just having that energy sit there with the, thought that you're going to have to do that assignment, but it's just sitting there, it's not really helping you out in any way. You're just leaking that energy. Or maybe, you had an ex-boyfriend that sometimes you still think about. It is important that you find all of these areas that you are leaking in energy, because at this point in our lives, we only deserve to have energy for ourselves. You are your top priority. And as an ambitious person, I have learned this the very hard way. I cannot help other people if I am not taking care of myself. I cannot teach other people how to take care of themselves if I am not taking care of myself. So it is very important that we learn how to cut off these cords with these people and really do the inner work to kind of patch up all of the cracks in ourself where we may be leaking energy. I'm going to take this from my phone here. I had a vase holding up my phone, and I really just want to show you. Imagine that this vase was your soul, was yourself, and imagine that it had a huge crack on it. Water would be leaking from it. It would not be able to hold anything. And in such a way, if I wanted it to be able to hold it, I would need to be able to patch these cracks up so that it could hold liquid. In a similar way, we really have to find the cracks that are within ourselves and be able to do the inner work to patch ourselves up, so that we can hold more. At right now, what it may be looking at we can only hold is our mental health. But once we learn how to patch up the entire vase, our entire selves up, and it becomes stronger, the patches become stronger, then we can add another layer. And what we may find is that maybe we'll be able to start holding more. A new hobby, a job, being able to cook for ourselves, a new relationship, we will be able to hold more. Now, continuing to the physical steps of what I like to do to be able to take care of myself. I have really found taking baths have been helpful for muscle aches, especially if I use bath salts. And now what I really want you to do when you take baths is that you make this bathroom into an oasis for yourself. It should feel like you're going to the spa every time that you take a bath. So what I have done for my bathroom is I have bought fairy lights and I put them alongside of the side of the bath on the wall. And then I put all of the fairy lights around the walls of the bathroom, and it's very pretty. There are lots of flowers in the bathroom. I bought a pot of flowers to sit right on top of the toilet. And I have so many different candles. When I fill up the bath, I like to fill it up with lots of bubbles. I don't even have bubble soap. I just grab some shampoo and I pour it right into the streaming water, and it by itself creates a bunch of foam and bubbles. And then what I like to do, if I have the time, and I've done this before, is to go out and collect some flowers, some roses, anything that I can find, and I like to just throw them inside of the water. I turn the candles on, I turn my fairy lights on, I turn the lights off and the fan on so that there's no mold on top, or I'll leave the door open. And I really take time to take care of myself and to feel good in the bath. This has helped out tremendously. It's more than just taking a bath. It's reminding myself that I am flowing in abundance. I am flowing in health. I am taking the time to take care of myself. And honestly, in doing so, I have cared for myself better than I have in the past. The second thing I'd like to talk about, and this one might be a little bit controversial, but I have found so much strength and so much support in, is dating. I know that while dating takes a lot of energy, you know, it is very important to not lose track of playing, to not lose track of, feeling good in ourselves and being able to find support and just moments of fun, of flirtation. And I have found the most loving and supporting partner because of my fibromyalgia, because he has seen how much effort has gone into me recovering, and he has been there to be able to help me out. And so, while Well, I'm not saying, go on a dating app and find somebody to date immediately, take time to be able to flirt with somebody, even if it's just your sister, or try to implement um, parts of having fun. Don't forget how to play. This is what I am saying. And in playing, we may be able to rely on our partners or our family as support systems, so that we can remind ourselves, we're not stuck in this feeling of depression, of feeling like we have to cry ourselves to bed every night, wishing and can't believing how this came upon us when we feel like we really didn't deserve it, right? It can be something beautiful. Something beautiful can come out of this. The third step that I want to recommend is asking our body how much we want to get done today. And this is really important because sometimes we'll find that what we want to get done is not necessarily what our body wants to get done. As a student, sometimes I want to read a textbook and I feel like I need to do this and need to do this assignment, and all of a sudden these assignments become my boss. But I have to remember that my assignments are not the ones in charge. I am in charge. My body is in charge. And if I do not listen to my body is in its full right and has the capacity to literally make me unable to move, put me in bed because I am not listening to it, because I'm not taking care of it. So it is really important that we ask our body how much it is that we want to get done today. One goal. Sometimes our body doesn't trust us and thinks that we are going to drive it to the ground if it gives us even a little bit of freedom. So I recommend that you take small steps so that your body learns that it is safe to trust in us again. So maybe once you have overcome the inertia of getting up from bed, we settle on completing one goal. If that is the only thing that our body wants us to get done today, if our body does not want to do anything today, maybe just settling on one goal. Or what is it that we need to get done today? Nothing more. Maybe it just looks like making breakfast for us. Maybe it just looks like paying one bill. Maybe it just looks like calling a family member. Just that one thing, if our body does not want to do anything else. If our body is okay with us doing a little bit more, then maybe it looks like us making breakfast and washing the dishes. And then we check in with our body and we ask ourselves, okay, body, thank you for letting me work. Thank you for letting me complete this goal. What would you like to do next? Maybe it wants to take a nap. Maybe it wants to watch a movie. Maybe it wants you to do your makeup. Maybe it wants to take a bath. Always remember to come back to what is it that our body wants to do. But I understand that sometimes overcoming that initial inertia to get up from our bed feels impossible. And I've been there before, especially when I feel like I am becoming very depressed. So what I like to do is to almost bribe my body. Do something that I know my body is going to feel really good about doing. What this may look like for myself is, I know I had this beautiful blue silky dress in my closet, and I know that my body will feel so good if I wear it. So body, if you let me get up from this bed, I will treat you to that beautiful blue silky dress. I am going to get up. I'm going to do some light makeup. I'm going to curl my hair. I am going to put that rose petal facial mist that you really like once you let me get up from bed. And what you will feel is that your body will feel lighter. It will feel more excited. You will feel like your energy is returning a little bit. Once you have hit something that you know will bribe your body to overcome that initial inertia to get up from bed. Something else that it might look like, you know, if you're a guy, it might look like your body, you promising your body that you're going to, shave. Maybe it looks like you're going to go get a haircut. Maybe it looks like you're going to get your nails done if you're a lady. Find out how are different ways that we can bribe our bodies, so that you can overcome that initial inertia. Some of the days for me, it looks like going to get my body an acai bowl, or going to buy myself a smoothie. Bribe ourselves. Bribing ourselves is a form of self-care, but it's our body really telling us what it is that it wants to do more often that we have been failing to listen to. And the last step that I have here is working to reparent ourselves, showing ourselves self-compassion, and imagining yourself often as if you were a baby. Many of us have come from homes maybe where we do not have the best of parents. I've always said that there is no school for parents to go to become parents, to learn to become parents. They're all people. They're just like us, right? And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to reparent yourself. If you don't have the support of your parents immediately available to yourself, all of us have an inner child within ourselves, and we really owe it to that inner child to become the best version of ourselves. And it is no different if we are struggling with whatever mental health disorder we may be struggling with, or physical ailments. It is no different to us. We still have that inner child within us, and we still have that baby child within us. To close off this session, what I want you to imagine is, I want you to imagine yourself as a baby. And if that's too much to do, I just want you to imagine a baby. It doesn't have to have a face. It can literally just be a bundle of blanket. It can literally be a glob if that's all you can imagine. It can be a baby from a cartoon movie that you watched. It can just be a baby. But I want you to imagine that baby and tell yourself that that's you. And once you've connected to that baby, I want you to rock it. This is you. And just like you would take care of a baby, just how you would not yell at this baby for not being able to get up from bed, for not being able to feed itself, for not being able to wash itself. Just like you would love it, I want you to show that same self-compassion to yourself. Because you are this baby's parent now. Because this baby is here. Because this baby may have been hurt, if not by parents, by toxic family members, by toxic partners, by parents of our friends when we grew up. It may be hurt by somebody. And it needs to be taken care of. It's your job to reparent yourself, even if you're not responsible for what did happen to you. even if you're not responsible for what's happening to you right now. You have an inner child within yourself, a baby child within you. Don't forget to rock it. Don't forget to feed it. Don't forget to change its diaper. This is you. As we end the session then, I have given you guys all a little bit of homework to be able to take care of your baby child, to be able to rock it, to be able to give yourself self-compassion.